Outside of some very loud disagreements about the 2020 elections, Republicans are just incapable of learning what the Democrats do to them every election cycle. While Republicans campaign on the issues, giving speeches on what they want to do if elected and how it will make your life better and the country better, they lose the election because they refuse to demonize their Democrat opponents. In this video, we're going to go over how Republican candidates can demonize their Democrat opponents. And unlike the Democrats, they can do it by simply pointing out what the Democrats have already done. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So while most Republicans appear timid and weak, some would call them pussies, make no mistake, their Democrat opponents are demonizing them. They do it every election. It's their playbook. The old, I can't tell you what I really want to do if I'm elected, but don't vote for that guy because he's evil. It's bewildering. Republicans don't even have to stretch the truth to counter this. All they need to do is highlight the very real actions of the Democrats. They want to call Republicans evil? Republicans, pay attention. Democrats had Americans practically on house arrest for almost 2 years. They promised safety with masks. They said the vaccine would shield everyone from the virus. They caused panic, even leading people to abandon holiday celebrations with family like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Americans turned against Americans. This fear, all thanks to the helpful guidelines pushed by Democrats. It felt less like health protection and more like control. Okay, here's Dan Bongino playing a clip of Jen Psaki, and she's interviewing Hillary Clinton, and the two bozos are talking as if the 2016 Russian collusion was real.
Watch the useful idiot, Peppermint Patty here. Just go along to get along. That, yeah, there's Russian collusion, even though they both know this is fake. Take a look.
Vladimir Putin has obviously, your friend and mine.
Yes, indeed.
He has intervened in our election in the past.
Right.
It's not something, as you experienced firsthand, it's not something we talk about a lot. Do you fear that that is something that could be happening for 2024? And do you think we should be talking about it more?
Well, I think we should be talking about it more because I don't think, despite all of the, deniers, there's any doubt that he interfered in our election.
Guys, this was total bullshit, and the two of these clowns know it. Hillary Clinton started the Russian collusion nonsense. She paid a law firm, Perkins Coie. Perkins Coie used the money to hire an opposition research firm, Fusion GPS. Fusion GPS hired ex-British spy and Trump hater Christopher Steele to go out and get garbage on Trump. It was all garbage. She did it to get her name off the front pages because of her illegal private email server. That was that. Now, the thing is, Democrats like her bring this up every single election. She has mentioned Russian collusion every single election. It is the easiest lie to beat, and yet none of them ever speak out against it. The Democrats are fascists who force the tech giants to censor you if you had undesirable ideas. They're constantly trying to take away your right to defend yourself with a gun, while at the same time they are letting violent criminals out on the streets by either not prosecuting them or getting rid of bail. The Democrats have wrecked our economy with the inflation they created by spending so much money to buy your voting influence. Their actions against our energy sector caused gas prices to go through the roof. Democrats play the race card all the time and stoke fear, anger, anxiety, and resentment doing it. It's all for votes. Don't forget, they shut down your churches and they wouldn't let you go to your jobs. You had no income and had to be dependent on the government so you could eat. They took away your dignity. And they're out there now trying to do it all over again. The Democrats were, and in many ways still are, the party of slavery. President Biden, as a Democrat senator, wrote the 1993 crime bill that Democrat President Bill Clinton signed into law. That bill landed a lot of black people in prison for long mandatory prison sentences over nonviolent crimes. And yet they will still vote Democrat over 80%. You have to ask yourself why. Because no amount of policy campaign promises will beat the Democrats' science of demonization of the Republicans. They've got it down to a science. And it's even worse when Republicans don't fight back. Even Vivek Ramaswamy cannot defeat their Democrat demon machine if he were to be a milquetoast rhino. But unlike a lot of Republicans running for office, Vivek is smart enough to know that the Democrats are demonizing him with lies and fear tactics, and he would come right back at them. The shame of it is that a lot of Republicans will not learn from that. They wouldn't even consider fighting back. Then why should we vote for them? Donald Trump is the master at coming back at Democrats. Yet the media, forever in cahoots with the Democrats, branded him as the demonizer. So what do Democrats do every election? Whenever elections come up year after year, the Democrats' campaign themes are ad nauseum the same. They frighten voters by accusing Republicans of imaginary crimes. And always the same things. Republicans wage wars on women. And the response should be Democrats have tried to eliminate women by supporting biological men to enter women's bathrooms, play in women's sports leagues, and all the rest. You know it, the story. GOP wage war on minorities and on the vulnerable and the poor while defending the rich. The response is this messed up economy we're in right now is 100% on Democrat policies. Just a few short years ago, everyone was booming under Republican leadership, and they act like we forget that. If Republicans don't reply to these accusations, the Democrat message becomes real to most people. If someone calls you a pussy in front of your friends and you don't reply, what are your friends probably going to think? Democrats say Republican policies inflict pain on the middle class and working class families to benefit the wealthy few. Oh my God, this one is so easy to counter. Democrats shut down your jobs, inflicting pain and suffering on millions of Americans who didn't have an income. They inflicted real harm on children by forcing them to do virtual learning at home and then to make them wear masks for 8 hours a day in school. But while the Democrats repeat these mantras, Republicans somehow year after year find themselves tongue-tied. All they have to do is point out what the Democrats have actually done. The most absurd of all, Democrats comparing Republicans to Nazis. This is like on page 1 of their handbook. They do it all the time. It's just not historically accurate. It's downright misleading. The Nazis were left-wing socialists, much closer to the ideology of the Democrats who throw the Nazi accusation at Republicans all the time. The Democrats, for example, just celebrated Zelensky first at the UN in New York and then in D.C. Then they supported him going to Canada, where he praised a Ukrainian soldier who moved to Canada after World War II. The left said that the guy fought the Russians during the war, and it was true, except you have to think about it. The Russians were an ally of ours. He did fight the Russians as a Nazi SS stormtrooper. The Nazis allowed Ukrainians to join the SS to attack people in their own country. There are Nazis all over Ukraine, and this guy was one of them. So while the Democrats will call every Republican a Nazi because he wants to support a secure border, he wants lower taxes, wants criminals to be dealt with, and to preserve the right to defend yourself, they supported Zelensky, who imprisoned his political opponent, shut down news medias, threatened churches and shut some down, and then praised a real-life Nazi. And that's okay. Even in places hit hardest by really bad Democrat policies like California and New York City, voters seem to forget. They vote against a fictional enemy, the Nazi Republican, which was created out of whole cloth by Democrat narratives. Every election cycle, the Democrats repeat these attacks verbatim. Year after year, Republicans fail to come up with effective responses. Not only do they not argue back to neutralize the unfair demonization by Democrats, but they never take the fight to the Democrat. I just listed an awful lot of things that the Democrats do to make your life friggin' miserable. And the Republicans fail each and every election cycle to capitalize on them. They never use them. All Republicans have to do is say things like, did you like losing your job and having to stand in line for hours at a time at the supermarket? Then vote for Democrats because they're the ones that did that to you. Do you remember when the Republicans were in charge under Trump and everybody that wanted one got a job and there were no lines in supermarkets until the Democrats made them? You just say that and you're going to win. Republicans could say the Democrats gave your jobs away to 7 million illegal aliens they allowed to come into the country without your permission, by the way, and in violation of our laws. Folks, it is genuinely absurd to watch year after year as Republicans get hit in the face by Democrat lies. And they're the same lies every single time. And the Republicans know that they're lies and know how to counter them, but they refuse to do so. It's so stupid to not fight back. As a kid, my father would always say, if a kid picked a fight with you, that it's better to at least get a couple hits in than to cower or run away. It's almost as if the Republicans say to themselves, I don't want to stoop to the level of that guy. You know, the one who's kicking my ass with public opinion through his lies. They should hire consultants who know the damage that the Democrats have done and are doing to this country. And they know that the Democrats are trying to destroy it as we know it for their own political and monetary gains. Have them write their scripts if they have to. The American people are not stupid, even those who vote for Democrats. Eliminating the radical woke Marxists of their party, most Democrats would listen to you if you just pointed out the truth of Democrat policies disrupting their lives and how you would counter to that to make their lives better. All right. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Share our videos with like-minded friends who want to stay informed with what's really going on. Stay informed, stay vigilant. Remember to read between the lines and the lies. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.
I'm all alone in this ghost town. In truth be told, it's cold and profound. Yeah, I'm all alone inside this home with no one else around.